Aztecs lead by 2 with 3:26 on the clock. Their calling card is defense, and that has certainly been the case once again today.
And watch the way when they're beaten a little bit for a fraction of a second. You see Butler get back that time. Now watch out front. Bradley was beaten for a second, but he gets right back into it. And now the contest from the outside. Just extraordinary the way they really think defense in their program and execute at that end of the floor.
This is a Creighton team that makes just under 9 3-pointers per game. They have 2 this afternoon.
Tough inbound.
Seiko gets it in for a rope, and now back into the hands of Trammell. Every starter for Creighton has played at least 32 minutes so far. Butler.
Comes that weave again for the middle of the floor.
Give it up. Trammell thought he had an opening.
I think he did for a second.
Shot clock is down to 10. The back end, a rope, flips it in.
Kalkbrenner was thinking of coming over just then too, Ian, but he didn't make a good, strong decision to get over there to help out.
San Diego State up by 4, under 3 minutes left. Just 7 points in the last 10 minutes for Creighton. Up top, Kalkbrenner with the finish. The setup by Alexander.
The three isn't going down, so watch for Creighton right now. They have to put an emphasis on initially trying to drive this towards the basket for either drives like that or medium-range pull-up jumpers.
The lead is 2 for the Aztecs. Trammell, get it in.
Kalkbrenner behind this time. He goes away from him.
A rope comes up short. Ball is free. A rope hits the deck. Whoa! Bodies flying! Shireman down on the deck, along with Seiko, and possession arrow to Creighton on a tie-up.
Well, you could just see this action getting ready to go with guys hitting the floor. The rope trying to call a timeout, but they did not have possession.
Substitution as Johnson will come in and replace a rope.
Good minutes by a rope.
Creighton shooting 24% in the second half. Counted down to the 2-minute mark here in regulation. Shireman, get it inside. Kalkbrenner, tie game.
Once again, that is a set play just then, coming down in a little bit of a weave. But I have to keep emphasizing how both of these coaches, Shireman that time going to his strong hand, the lefty, and just waiting for a little squeeze pass to get it to his big guy.
6 ties, 6 lead changes. Shot clock is down to 12. Seiko on a bounce. Mensah, got him!
The scouting report, I think they read that as if he's not going to take that little pull-up.
8 points for the senior Nathan Mensah. San Diego State up by 2, 1:24 left. Give and go. Nembhard! And Mensah was there defensively.
Well, Nembhard had that shot. I don't think it was deflected on that cut to the basket. A good give and go, and he's still holding that right wrist over on the left side of the floor.
San Diego State with possession up by 2. 1 minute to play. Butler on a handoff for Trammell. Trip to the Final Four on the line. Trammell off the rim. And a rebound controlled by Shireman. 2-point game. Creighton with possession. Down on the scoreboard, 56-54. 42 seconds left. Alexander makes his move. Hop step. Oh, dances off the rim. Kalkbrenner steps in. Out of bounds. We were that close to a tie game, and San Diego State will have possession.
Such a great judgment, too, by Alexander. I don't know how that ball didn't go in. And the effort by Kalkbrenner again to tip it.
Micah Parrish checks back in. He's playing with 4 fouls. 33.7 on the clock. How do you approach it if you're Creighton?
I'm just thinking this one through. It's such a tough decision.
Well, you're going to have some time to think about it.
I appreciate it.
Brian Dutcher just hooked you up.
Thanks, Coach.
Timeout, San Diego State. Unexpected offense from Nathan Mensah to put the Aztecs in front. We still have another game left in this phenomenal month of March. Miami and Texas Midwest Regional Final coming up here on CBS from Kansas City. Business, though, still left to take care of here in Louisville. 56-54. Keep this in mind. 5 team fouls on Creighton. So if they are going to start fouling, there's still going to be a foul to give before they get into a shooting situation to put San Diego State at the free throw line. They're just checking on the clock right now. 33.7 on the game clock.
And if that differential stays right there, I think your point is very well taken with one foul that they have to give. I think they're in a position because San Diego State will take time off the clock if they get this possession down the other end. And remember, this ball has to hit somewhere out of bounds for it to stop. Not yet, not yet. The coach catches it, and that's when it's out of bounds.
So they've added half a second, 34.2.
I don't think that really makes a difference in terms of the strategy.
San Diego State with possession, up by 2.
Now, before you just go in and foul quickly, you want to take some gambles here in terms trying to get the steal as best you can. Look for some traps, some double teams. You can take about, I don't know, say 10 seconds off the clock if you can get a chance for a trap. But that foul to give may come back to haunt them if they don't do it quick enough.
Seiko, the senior, to toss it in.
Timeout has to be called.
Avoided the 5-second call on the turnover.
Tough spot to take it out of bounds, too.
San Diego State is down to 1 timeout remaining. Well covered by Creighton. We're coming back. Now, this is where San Diego State wanted to play this game, in the 50s. Right now, they've got a 56-54 lead on Creighton with 34.2 on the clock.
Well, it was way too crowded for an inbounds pass from the sideline the last trip. So now they could go one-on-one and try to get it in. Oh, look at this.
Steal! Shireman! Tie game!
A lob pass entry went a little awry over the top of the offensive player. And I think you just play the sign as if this is the last shot. The way they've been hitting their offensive rebounds.
2.5-second difference. Shot clock to game clock. 56-56.
Going to go about 7 seconds here. Playing as if, even though there's a differential.
Butler with 7. Down to 5. And a foul given. So that is going to erase the shot clock. 6.7. They tried to lob it up for Parrish, and Shireman was there.
And what's the major no-no in basketball? Do not bring that ball in bounds towards the opposition's basket.
It was a gift.
Yeah. I mean, I love the thought process of getting a big guy, put your hand up, and throw it to my target, let me go get it, but not in that direction.
San Diego State has called its final timeout.
Does everything he can do to get to it, and you can't get a better layup opportunity.
Aztecs will have a chance to win it. You've got Trammell, you've got Butler, you've got options.
That foul in that situation also gave them the last on the clock, bringing it down to a 6.7. Now they can sit on it, but there was a little bit of a differential before that foul, so I'm not so sure about it. Now I'm looking to see if one of the guards will get involved. Trammell's on the floor, very good. They have 2 options with the way Butler has played and Trammell to get at least a couple of dribbles and pull up jump shots, if not a slip cut to the basket. They don't need to go long on this.
And now Creighton will take the timeout. The Blue Jays have 1 remaining. We are tied at 56. Creighton Blue Jays and San Diego State Aztecs. Neither team has ever been to a Final Four. This tournament has been absolutely wild and unpredictable. And a 5-6 matchup is going to determine who goes to Houston. These two teams played last year. First round of the NCAA tournament. And that one was bonkers. San Diego State had a 9-point lead late, but could not close it out against Creighton. They went on a 9-0 run to force overtime and win it to advance. Today we've got even more on the line.
And generally in situations where you're looking to get a shot up and go for an offensive rebound, you start like at 7 seconds. Clearly this is under 7 seconds. But now I think you take an extra second or two if you have to. Don't worry about the offensive rebound. Worry about the initial shot to make sure it's a clear shot that you get off and it's not blocked or deflected.
Kaluma will defend the inbounder. San Diego State looking for the win. Butler, get it in. A rope, hands it to Trammell. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Trammell drives. He's fouled. Trammell will go to the free throw line.
It's all about getting the turn towards the basket. Played it perfectly from a timing perspective. Let's see if there's a hit. Left arm is down low. He didn't hit him with the right arm. The left arm might be on the hip. Let's take another look. See that left hand on the hip? I'm a big believer, Ian, in that if the offensive guy makes a play at the end of a game and he's fouled, you have to call it. Now, some people say this may not be much of a foul, but does it affect the offensive guy's motion to the basket and getting a shot off? And you're pushed a little bit, it throws your timing off.
So clearly there was time left on the clock. Gene Steratore back in New York watching along with us. Just take us through the thought process of the officials right now, Gene.
Yeah, and in these situations, what they'll do is review back and look when the contact was initiated. As Jimmy said, I think he's right. It's the left hand on the hip. So really when that contact basically starts to occur right about there, which a restriction or a foul has been decided upon, that's when they'll go back. My early look on that looks to be about 1.2 seconds, Ian.
And that's exactly what they're going to put on the clock. And now Darion Trammell will head to the free throw line for the first time today. Tied at 56.
74% free throw shooter, too.
Creighton has taken a timeout. And Greg McDermott is still steamed.
Yep, understandably.
Another look.
Yeah, left hand. Just watch the left hand down below. See, that's enough to throw your timing off. I know people don't want to get the game decided by the officials in a call like this. But in my mind, as I repeat myself, if the offensive player makes a move and he beats the defender, why do we not call it if it's a foul? Then you're penalizing the offensive player down in the last second of a game.
So no timeouts left now on either side. Let's take this back to the inbounds, Jimmy. The toss in here, a rope. Oof. Very close.
To traveling? Yeah.
Got rid of it.
Yeah.
Barely.
Now here's a thought for you if he makes the first free throw.
The senior from Marin City, California.
Oof. I was going to say make the first and miss the second, because you're going to lose on a three-shot anyway. But right now, obviously, he has to hit this shot
for the lead. San Diego State up by 1.2 to go.
Shireman has a pretty good arm, too, taking it out of bounds.
Shireman was a high school quarterback.
Right, exactly.
In Aurora, Nebraska.
If ever you want him to throw one, now's the time.
Shireman, the southpaw, tosses deep, The ball is knocked up in the air, and it's over. The officials are holding off for a moment to check the clock. Everybody wait.
Remember, when this ball hits out of bounds is when the clock should stop. So it's in the air, down. It's
Gene Steratore with us once again. Gene?
We definitely have time left, Ian. From what I saw, it's either 2/10 or 3. What we got to wait for now is continuously look and see naturally who was last to touch on this side. Right now, it's very difficult to discern one or the other. This is a better look, but I can't see anything definitive there. So the ruling on the court right now from this angle has got to stay to what we have. We don't have something indisputable to overturn that. But we've got to look. We see the time as well, Ian, and I think it's good to, it's to be noted that if it is 3/10, we're into the touch. We're not into a catch and shoot if it would happen to go to Creighton in this situation.
Yeah, great point there, Gene. So this ends up, let's hypothetically just say it stays with Creighton, the ball goes down, and it's 2/10 or 1/10 of a second. Then, it, like you just said, you can't catch it, possess it, and shoot it. It's got to be a tap towards the basket.
But they still have to determine who touched it last. And on the second replay that we just saw, that might have been Kaluma's finger right at the tail end. It was Kaluma battling with a rope. On the pass from Shireman, you see that?
It might be the fingertips. Could be correct on that one.
So watch Kaluma's right hand. Is he the last one to touch it there, or was it a rope off the fingers? And now, Gene, you've seen 3 different angles, and we're all trying to still figure this out, including the officials.
No question, Ian. And look, this is what makes it difficult. We're looking for anything we can to make it indisputable. The ruling has to take precedent. I'm also looking to see if that clock, in fact, started immediately upon touch, too. So they could be looking at that as well. That's another element, right? We're going to officiate everything. So when that touch occurs, we have to make sure that that clock started immediately. And with tenths, we have that luxury to know that this should start, instantaneously. We should see tenths start to be reduced from that clock.
Hey, Gene, on the throw-in, just notice that Shireman's foot slid forward.
I think he released the ball on that, so he didn't touch the floor.
Agreed, Jimmy. I think he was still airborne after it left his hand as well.
He's close.
That is close.
So we got a lot going on here. And meanwhile, San Diego State has a 1-point lead trying to get to the finish line.
And the ruling on the floor was whose ball?
They've determined it's over. For the first time in school history, San Diego State is going to the Final Four. A heartbreaking loss for Creighton. And it's Aztec madness. 57-56. They took out a stopwatch to get the official ruling. And San Diego State is heading to Houston.